Hi, I'm Kim, and today we're talking about something a little bit different. We are talking about waffle towels, and in this video, I'm going to break down the two most popular brands that I've seen out there, Onsen and Parachute. They've shown up on almost every best of home list out there. They're all over Instagram, and even IKEA sells their version of waffle towels. But just because two towels share that honeycomb weave, it doesn't mean that they're actually the same towels. I've been using my Onsen towels for a couple of months now, and in this video, like I said, I'm going to compare those two brands. So let's get into it. So I first tried waffle towels, a few months ago at a boutique hotel, and I liked them enough to think about when I was replacing my traditional terry cloth towels. I wanted to revisit and do some research on these waffle towels. Also, I have a very small linen closet, and the one thing I liked about these towels is they were very thin. So obviously space is a concern for me, and that was one thing that I considered. So before we get into the comparison, let's give a quick overview on the brands. Onsen is a very focused brand. They do one thing and one thing only. They make these waffle towels, and they're made with 100% Supima cotton. That's an extra long, staple American-grown cotton. They're known for being really strong, durable, and getting softer over time. Parachute is a much broader home line. They do sheets, pillows, robes, furniture, candles, and they make towels too, both waffle and the traditional terry cloth version. Their towels use 100% long staple Turkish cotton. The brand built its reputation on softness and that elevated, relaxed luxury feel that you'd associate with a really nice hotel stay. Both are very quality, but those two cotton types make them very different, and let's talk about why that matters. So first, when we get into the comparison and where it really divides the two is really related to that cotton. The cotton is different and it produces a completely different feel. Supima cotton, which is what Onsen uses, is firm, it's strong, and as I mentioned, the fibers are really long and tightly woven, which gives that towel the structure. When you pick up an Onsen towel, especially right when you get it out of the package, it is a little bit, has a more of a crisp, firmer feel. It's not really super soft like you would get from that like terry cloth feel. That's really where Parachute is different. That Turkish cotton is that softer feel. You're going to feel that kind of soft fullness from the towels right out of the package. It's really light and it has kind of a more modern form. When you put these towels side by side, as I mentioned, Onsen is a little bit firmer and Parachute is a little bit softer. It's not necessarily really related to quality. It is really the difference of that cotton. And depending on the type of towel that you like, you feel comfortable with, one might work better for you than the other. So let's talk about how it actually feels in day-to-day use. Onsen has that texture, not scratchy or crisp like I'd mentioned negatively. It really has a noticeably different feel and firmness, but it really absorbs water quickly. The honeycomb has a little bit of like a scrub kind of feeling to it, a little bit like you would feel like you're exfoliating, but not overly rough or firm where it's uncomfortable. And some people immediately love that, and some people need a few uses and also a few washes to kind of warm up to it. I do want to say that I have used this towel several times, really over and over. It's been my daily towel. And after I've washed it multiple times, it does really soften up and it feels noticeably different than the first day that I used it or really out of the package. So if you're someone that really like showers and wants to, dry off really quickly and get dressed really quick, the Onsen towel is really going to do that for you. But one thing I do want to mention, my son has some sensory sensitivities, and when he used the towel, he did find it a little bit rougher in the beginning. But as I mentioned, after you wash it and use it multiple times, it does really soften up. But it really does hold its shape and its form. The Parachute towel, as I mentioned, is more of that traditional feeling terry cloth feel. So it is really fluffy and soft. And if you are one of those people that kind of likes to wrap yourself around, wrap yourself up into a towel, like you're really going to notice the difference, and you'll feel that with Parachute. So as I mentioned, the drying time and the absorbency of the towel, that's really where Onsen sold me. I hate a damp towel. And as I mentioned, I have a son and I have a daughter. They're two teenagers. We have laundry constantly piling up. And sometimes it takes me a day or so to get to a load of towels. And I hate that damp, musty, you're starting to kind of smell those towels after a day or two. And with Onsen, it really does dry quickly. You can hang it up. There's this really cool little hook on the towel or loop that you can hang on a hook, and it really dries pretty quickly. Within a couple of hours, you're gonna notice that towel is dry. So if you're using a towel over and over for a couple of days, you're gonna notice it really dries quickly between uses. If you are one of those people that likes a new towel every day, once you put it in the laundry, it also dries quickly. You're not gonna smell that kind of like musty, damp smell from a towel. And on the other side with Parachute, it does also dry pretty quickly, but not as fast as the Onsen towels. It does dry faster than the traditional terry cloth towel, but not as fast as Onsen, like I mentioned. So it does hold on to the moisture a little bit more. And I used it when I showered the night before. It wasn't fully dry that next morning. So one thing to note, if you live in a humid area or you have a smaller space, that gap is something you're going to probably really notice between those two towels. So that is something to consider. Now for storage. As I mentioned, I live in a small condo. I have a small linen closet, and my linen closet has to fit everything. Sheets, towels, everything. And the one thing I liked about Onsen was I could have several towels folded on a shelf, and I felt like they fit pretty nicely. I was able to store my bath towels, hand towels, and washcloths and have enough space. The Parachute towels were a little bit thicker, and obviously the terry cloth towels even thicker than that. But the Onsen towels really compact. It held its shape. It got softer, but I also felt like it didn't take up as much space as the traditional terry cloth towel. So if you live in a small space, have a small storage closet, that is something that I really found to be really important and mattered to me. So talking about durability now. I've used my Onsen towels for a few months. I've washed it multiple times, and with that honeycomb weave, it is easily snaggable. Some people have noticed fraying. I haven't had that experience, and my honeycomb pattern is still fully intact. With the Parachute towels, it is a little bit of that, softer feeling. It is a little bit easier to snag. I don't have any snags in my Parachute towels, but I can tell that it could be easily snaggable, if you're wearing rings, getting out of the shower with jewelry on. So something to consider also there. So who should buy these towels? Let's break it down. You're gonna go with Onsen if drying time matters to you, you live in a small space, you have a small linen closet like I do, you wanna dry off really quickly, you want a towel that really absorbs water quickly and dries in a short amount of time, definitely Onsen is for you. You're gonna go with Parachute, like I mentioned before, if you really like that soft kind of comfy, wrap yourself up in a big towel kind of feel, and maybe someone who is sensitive to textures or you have a sensory sensitive child, it is something to think about. So as I mentioned before, Onsen is my daily towel. That's not really a knock on Parachute, but Onsen fits my lifestyle better. Fast drying, compact storage, there's no musty smell between my laundry days. So for me, that's a big win. Okay, so if you're on the fence, if it fits in your budget, I would definitely say go to a Waffle towel, either Onsen or Parachute. I'm leaning towards Onsen because for me, it really relates to my lifestyle with space and drying time. So that's definitely why I lean towards Onsen. If you like that kind of soft, wrap yourself up into a big fluffy towel, you'll want to go with Parachute. Also, if you have someone with sensory sensitivities and textures and the feel really bothers them, you would probably lean towards something softer, like either a traditional terry cloth towel or the Parachute brand. So I do really want to say that I love the way that the Waffle towels look on your towel rack. I love that kind of like polished aesthetic. They have this very clean and crisp look. So Waffle towels are definitely the way to go. And for me, it's Onsen. I hope you found this helpful. I know I gave you a lot of information, and if you're thinking of making the switch from that traditional terry cloth towel, this is something to consider. And I know it's just towels, but if you're buying a whole new set, that is an expense, and it's worth knowing what you're getting into. So leave a question or a comment below and let me know if you've tried either or what you're looking for. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.